Insidious 2 is a 2013 American horror film directed by James Wan and stars Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, Ty Simpkins, Barbara Hershey, Steve Coulter, and Lynn Shaye. The plot follows the Lambert family trying to get to the bottom of the evil that continues to follow them after the events of the 2010 film. So I've rarely reviewed movies in order. I've reviewed the let's see, what have I reviewed? The first film, of course, the fifth, and now part two. I figured I should catch up on the series, now that part six is out. And no, I'm not really a fan of this series. I mean, I do really like the first film quite a bit to this day. Even I think it holds up. I think it was good for a 2010 American mainstream horror film. I think it's kind of an inconsistent and somewhat messy franchise. But for some reason, I keep watching them, and I'll probably check out, parts 3 and 4, which I've learned recently. I believe they're both prequels, so I didn't actually know that. Part 2 is a direct, literally a direct continuation of the first film, focusing on the old woman, or Bride in Black, an apparition that had followed Josh Lambert as a child, and which I actually kind of like. I think this was a good route to take. I mean, first of all, I'm not against sequels. Well, I guess sequels for me are kind of controversial and kind of dual-sided. On one hand, most of the time I think they didn't need to be made. On the other hand, I like the fact that they're made because, as I think most of us humans like things to be explained. If we like something, we want more of that. So, I think the first movie, I think it ended on a perfect note, but whatever. So when I started watching this, at first I thought, do we need this to be explained? And I'd say that James Wan and Leah Whannell actually did a pretty good job with, giving that character a backstory. I'm talking about the Bride in Black, or the old woman, depending on, I'm not really sure which name, or both. But anyways, giving that character a backstory, especially being one that wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't super predictable, and especially since the first film, really tells us absolutely nothing. It was just a nameless ghost, basically. So for a sequel, I think this was, the right way to go. And I get how Wan, wanted a new sort of different approach for this sequel. I can even appreciate it, but in his words, it had strong domestic thriller elements, which yeah, I think that was kind of the part of this movie that I didn't really like, compared to the classic haunted house, type story Insidious had, which I really loved. The story moves really quick, kind of like a lot of modern horror, which at times makes it feel a little bit convoluted. I wish some of these movies would just kind of slow down a little, build some atmosphere, which the first film mostly does. And this movie does have some atmosphere too, don't get me wrong. It just, falls into a lot of modern horror trappings, and that's where I get a little bit negative. This is a Blumhouse movie after all, and a 2013 one at that, which may be where the overall quality, started to dip, in the Blumhouse camp. I think the dialogue at times is pretty mediocre, but it's not hard to look past. What annoyed me the most was, first, the look of these movies is always just bad. The lighting is kind of terrible. It's just distracting. It makes it makes it look cheap. And again, not so much the first film. That one kind of defies all of the odds for me. It's almost in an amazing way. The other thing I hated even more probably was the sound design. It's just awful. Like sometimes people are mumbling so low that you can't hear anything, and then the horror parts kick in and it's insanely loud, and I don't know why it's like that. So I know it's super cliche to dog on Blumhouse. We've all done it. Everyone's done it. Countless times. Do I need to do it again? Probably not, but I'm going to. I feel like if they want to not be the laughingstock of the horror world anymore, they need to reverse their current business model, which is literally quantity over quality. Insidious 2, had a $5 million budget, and it grossed over $161 million. So it's kind of insulting, and they could have invested just a little bit more for lighting and cameras, better cameras, and still absolutely cleaned up. A fun fact, though, the first Insidious film had a $1.5 million budget, which is crazy to me. And I feel like it looks and sounds way better. But I could be wrong. I don't know. That's what I seem to remember. So I'm giving Insidious 2 a 6 out of 10. Overall, I think it's a solid sequel with a solid script and some decent scares. It's way better than Part 5. And I'm a little curious about 3 and 4, and also the newest one, which I will probably check out soon. Cheers, guys. I'll see you at the multiplex. Subscribe right now, please.